And welcome back to the Metal Mixtape here on KSKQ 89.5 FM Ashland, Oregon, 94.1 FM Medford, Oregon, and streaming online on KSKQ.org. Woo! And right now we're going to talk to Patrick Donovan from a toy called God.
What's up, Patrick?
What's up, Pat?
Hey, what's up, gang? How you guys doing?
Here, hold on 1 second. Let me get this volume thing going on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. I got my earbuds in. I'm ready.
Okay, I got you now. Dude, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm good. How are you guys doing, man?
Dude, we're doing so good, dude. I'm so happy to have you on. Thank you for bearing with us, for going through what we're going through. And I appreciate you making the time, man.
Man, my heart goes out to you, my brother. So, yeah, whatever you guys need, I'm always down for whatever.
So, you know what? So first off, Mr. Patrick Donovan, I want to tell you about my experience outside looking in from your career. Since I've been friends with you on Facebook and just seeing what you're all about and everything, you're a super professional, very real, upfront musician and promoter. I noticed that you're all about hard work. You're all about being honest and just having that straight work ethic, because I see you working hard with your band. I see you working hard with Distilled Entertainment, and you're as real as it gets, man.
Man, I just try to be straight up with people because I would want people to be straight up with me. And that's all I could ask, is just be upfront with me. I'll be upfront with you. Everything will be copacetic. There's no need for this business to get sideways. We're all in the same snake pit together. So, I'm just trying to get, do my thing and get it on.
No, I dig it, man, and I absolutely agree, dude. And seeing on like the certain levels you're on, talking to the business, would you agree that the more you get into the business and the more you invest into the business, that it could sometimes get more stressful and you have to deal with a lot more?
Well, certainly, in anything, the further you go, the greater the challenge becomes, right?
Yeah.
So, like in the music business, a lot of it is just learning as you go, because there's no manual, there's no like book out there that's how to be a rock star, right? we're all just swinging and trying to do the best we can. So you just try to strategize the best you can, and then perform the best you can, and then do the best business you can.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree, man. I've interviewed quite a bunch of people, and I get the same responses about like keeping your head down, working, and really, really just focusing on like your own craft, because at the end of the day, it's your dream and nobody else's. It's the amount of work you put in, not the amount of work somebody else puts in. It's almost like you steer your own ship. You know what I mean? And you just have to sometimes avoid those sharks and those waves.
100%, my guy. It's all about what you do and how you react, not about anything else. This is a game about hustle, money, and connections. If you have those three things and your hustle is real, you can do whatever you want in the music business. You just got to want to.
Yeah.
And you have to invest in yourself.
I absolutely agree, man. So, like I was saying, not only do you work with Distilled Entertainment, but you also have Toy Called God. So tell me a little bit about this project. Oh yeah, dude. I see you have a huge following, dude. You play great rock and roll and metal, dude. But and one thing I've noticed is that like I've always seen you be kind of like I would say, I don't know if you're comfortable with me saying this, like you being like the face, because I always see you advertisement, and anything I see Toy Called God related, I always see Patrick Donovan all over it. So I want to know a little bit about like how this whole project came to be.
All right, so probably years ago, there was a guy who was working for FedEx or UPS, and he delivered a package to this dude's house, and he saw the drum kit in there, and he started talking to him, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to jam or whatever?" And so they did that. And then a couple weeks later or whatever, they put an ad on Craigslist, and I responded to the ad because they were looking for someone to jam the guitar. And I'm like, sweet, I could do this. And so I went over there and checked it out, and I dug the drummer. The other guitar player was whatever. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll come back next week or whatever. And so they said, well, cool. The drummer's brother is a singer, and, you could like come out and we could, jam. And I'm like, all right, sweet, I'll come out. And so I went out there the following week, and the singer showed up, and we were just playing whatever covers I could get them to play because they didn't play a bunch of songs, and they didn't have a bunch of songs written because we'd never really jammed. And so we were doing like covers like Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting or whatever, and all this other crazy crap.
Yeah.
But like when he opened his mouth, he sounded like Phil Anselmo, and I'm like, whoa, I can work with that. I can make that work. And so I'm like, hey, bro, let's smoke a cigarette. And so we talked about it out on the porch while we were smoking. And the next day, I went down and bought a PA, and Toy Called God was born.
Dude, that is awesome, dude. So how long has Toy Called God been around? Like, what's the life so far on it?
So we started it in like June of 2010. So 10 years now.
Dude, hey, 10 years is quite a bit long for a band, honestly. Like, I see a majority of bands, like, either they'll last 3 years and break up, or they'll put out an album or break up, or they're open for, like, a big band and break up. Or just some drama or whatever. Like, what do you think is some important keys for, like that you've learned from being in your band that is important for the longevity?
Well, so my band's kind of weird because we've had turnover at every position at least, a few times. So I've managed to keep the brand growing and evolving the brand over the 10-year period. But the number one thing that, I would tell any band trying to do this and trying to get out there is it's about your product, and it's about having everybody on the boat rowing in the same direction, right? The hardest two parts of this, like you said, are like personnel. So like keeping it all together and keeping it moving and keeping everyone happy is a challenge because it's like 4 relationships that's one relationship, or 5 relationships, depending on how many people are in your band or whatever. But so the hard part is always, maintaining people, and then having everybody moving in the same direction. Because, everyone has to have kind of like the same goals. If you don't have the same goals, then you're killing yourself before you ever start. There's some dudes that are not made for that touring life. If it's your hobby, great. Then it should be everybody's hobby. But don't have like dudes that are out there trying to, tour the world with dudes that are out there trying to tour the county. Sooner or later, there's going to be a problem, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to have dudes that are on the same mission as you, and you have to put in the work and put it in your product. Don't be cheap. Pay the pro producer. It's worth it. Trust me.
Oh yeah, no, it's like a restaurant. It's like buy good produce and you'll cook great meals. You know what I mean? You buy cheap produce, you're going to be giving out crappy meals. So
if you buy McNuggets, you get McNuggets.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So, are you the only original member left in Toy Called God?
Yes.
So,
I'm the last of the Mohicans.
I like asking like this question. Is like how do you keep your head leveled and being able to push through? Because myself, I've been in bands. I've like probably been like 9 now, but I've always just tried to like keep my head down. But keeping the same brand for 10 years and going through all these people, how do you keep your head leveled? And also, how do you maintain the brand Toy Called God with your genre of music?
So every time we switch a person, it adds a little tweak to the mix, right? Because everybody has different things that they bring to the table as far as musicianship. But there's certain things that are always constant in like the Toy Called God mix. So there's always that certain guitar tone. There's always that certain vibe in the songs, whether it's one of the ballads or one of the choppy, bouncy ones. They all have that unique Toy Called God feel, because I'm a lot of the practical ingredients that go in that, right? I'm the primary songwriter, obviously, the manager, the booker, this, that, and the other. So for me, it's pretty much been my baby since we started it. And I'm the sort of person that is just super driven. This is all I've ever wanted to do since I was 5 years old. So
no, absolutely. Go ahead.
So that all being said, what you dreamed about suddenly becomes reality if you work hard enough, and that's what it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And consistency, and it really pays off. I always notice how incredible, like, anytime I see a band do good or a band make it to that next level, it's always just because they were consistent. It's almost like that race between the turtle and the rabbit. Like a lot of these rabbits just like Like one of my mentors always told me is like never get caught up in your own hype. To always keep working and to never settle and get stagnant on thinking what you did is enough at that given moment, because it like I just said, it's a moment. You know what I mean? And you gotta keep those moments going. Like, what would you say on that?
It's exactly that. It's moments in time. It's little bitty captures of your soul that last for a 3 or 4 minute period, right? And then
Yeah.
you have to keep it, and then you have to keep it moving. That CD you recorded is one performance, and the goal is many performances, right? It's all just steps, one step after another. If you ever stop working, then you're dying. So
Yeah.
I personally believe that, you should always be pushing further. What can I do on this record that I missed on the last record? What
Hmm.
can I improve songwriting wise? What could I have done to make that mix better? Why? What can I do to make it chart further next time? What can I do to improve my brand or my PR? How can I get it further? That's the whole
Yeah.
thing, man.
Absolutely, dude. So, you being the one person in this band for the last 10 years, is there a certain concept that you've tried to stay true with Toy Called God? Because, like, even listening to your song, like, Punch Life in the Face, I was reading some of your comments, and saying how, like, some of the comments were saying, like, like, always be grateful for what you have because somebody out there could always have it worse. You know,
Absolutely.
so is there a certain concept or feeling that you try to stay true throughout the last 10 years of Toy Called God?
So all the songs we've written are moments that we've experienced or lived personally.
I
And
love it.
so
Love it.
And so, with that being said, it allows you to write songs that people can easily relate to because there's always someone out there that can say, holy shit, I've totally been there. I know exactly what those dudes are talking about. And so that's what we write about because we want people to be able to relate to what we're trying to do. And so it's just moments I've lived or moments one of the other guys have lived or combinations thereof. It's real, it's genuine, it's honest. And that's that's what it is.
So, also, you were saying, you do a lot of the promoting, the marketing, and a lot of the songwriting. What pushed you to start working and doing like Distilled Entertainment? Because me myself, like trying to like jump in many avenues. It's like a brain that never stops. Like how does Patrick Donovan deal with being in a band, being a manager of a band, and then being on Distilled Entertainment as well? How do you handle doing all that?
It's well, so the bands that I work with for Distilled or that are on my roster are bands that I genuinely love and dig. So that makes it super easy,
Yeah.
right? It's easy to tell people about something that you love because you're automatically hyped and it just pours out of you,
Yep.
right? Like the Elusive
Yep.
Furs, man. I fucking love the Elusive Furs, right? And so that being said, it's easy for me to hype them because that love is genuine. That sound is
Mhm.
so fucking funky. My
Yeah.
bad on the language. Sorry,
Oh, it's
FCC
all
youths. Um, but
Hey, thank you.
but but so that all being said, I love those guys, and so when you love it, it's super easy to talk about. And then I've like over 10 years, I've gained so much knowledge of what to do and what not to do, and all that. And so if I can help someone along the way, shave the curves off some of that stuff and make it easier, I'm about it. And so I just kind of
Yeah.
wrap all that up in a ball, and it is me at Distilled.
Dude, I
And
think that's absolutely. Oh, go ahead.
we were already on their roster, and so Ryan and I talk all the time anyway, and so he knows what my knowledge level is and
Yeah.
my he knows my determination level. And so he's like, "Yeah, dude, we would just totally bring you on." And I'm like, "Let's do that." And so that's what it's
Dude,
been.
that's pretty awesome, dude. I love what you're doing. I love your work ethic. I'm one of those people that always pay attention to people. I think that are doing like a great job. Like, I'm the guy who has a picture of uh, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Brady, and Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters on his wall, because
Well, that's a good picture to have.
I like walking into my room and being like, Tom Brady worked hard, Arnold Schwarzenegger worked hard, and Dave Grohl worked hard. and it's almost like a reminder, dude. So so one thing I noticed. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, well, let me kick that back at you. You're out there working pretty damn hard yourself, my guy. So props on your crops.
Hey, thanks, man. Hey, I learned from the best, man.
Nice.
So one thing I've watched, been watching you, and with all your successes, is that you have a pretty big fan base, and I've noticed this little thing called PD Cares. So, all right. And one thing I've noticed about that is where did that whole concept come about? It's almost like it should be a podcast. You know, that they should have me on, by the way, if you ever do that.
I've tossed that idea around, and I really am kind of torn on whether I should do it or not, because it could go famously good or famously bad. But so the PD Cares thing, it all started, man. I got friends that hashtag the hell out of stuff. And I also got a lot of friends that seemingly could use advice, but you don't want to call them out by name because, like, they'll get all fucking salty.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, if I totally vague book this, I could totally convey my message in the brutal, truthful way that I want to, and it'll be funny. And then I'll just say hashtag PD Cares, because I do care, sort of, and it'll be funny. And so it was like, at first it was like music stuff and life stuff, and then I just did it enough times that it kind of took on a life of its own. And then one day someone was like, bro, you should make t-shirts for that. And I'm like, oh, you're right, I should. And then it took on another whole thing. And now there's PD Cares t-shirts and shoes and all kind of shit. But
man. I wouldn't be surprised if you came out with your own ranch dressing, dude.
Dude, if I could find a supplier, I'd have it tomorrow. So any ranch dressing makers out there, let's make some ranch dressing. Oh, PD Cares. But no, so it kind of started as a joke, and then it kind of just took off and just got traction. And then now everybody knows me. Like, if you don't know I'm in Toy Called God, but you know who I am, you're always like, PD Cares, bro, woo! And dude, I'll be out at clubs, dude, I'll hear people screaming that shit across the parking lot, and it just cracks me up. Because I think all that shit, it's just sarcasm, you know? Like, a lot of times it's just me calling out people that I think are kind of being dumb. And I just say it in just a funny, sarcastic way, because it makes me laugh. And that's all it is. It's just making me laugh.
Dude, I think that's awesome, dude. Well, hey, man, now we are going to get to the second part of our interview. I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and you only have 30 seconds to answer each question. Patrick Donovan, are you ready?
I'm ready.
In the zombie apocalypse, you have one weapon to kill the zombie horde. What is your one weapon?
Mossberg.
All right. If you can be in any band and play one set in any era, what band would that be?
Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction area.
Dude, that's funny. All right. Is there a guilty pleasure band, or I wouldn't say guilty pleasure, but a band or an artist that you listen to that your fans would not expect that you listen to?
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Dude, I love Earth, Wind, and Fire, dude. Come on.
Right? How do you not love Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Dude, all right. Is there a food that you absolutely think is disgusting?
Okra.
All right, dude. Is there a hero or anime character or villain that best represents your personality, or you would love to be?
The Joker.
All right. If you were on a stranded island with your band, who is the first member you guys eat?
The drummer, always.
That's funny, dude. Well, hey, Patrick, I appreciate you so much for being here on the Metal Mixtape and making time.
I appreciate you.
Dude, you are super awesome, super funny, dude.
Oh, man, thank you for having me on. All love.
Hey, you want to do me one last favor before I let you go?
Yes, sir.
Would you say this is Patrick Donovan from Toy Called God, and you're listening to the Metal Mixtape?
This is Patrick Donovan from Toy Called God, and you're listening to the Metal Mixtape.
Patrick, and for all of his fans listening right now, we're talking to Patrick Donovan from Toy Called God and Distilled Entertainment. If you're just now tuning in, this interview will be uploaded tomorrow on the Metal Mixtape YouTube page. Patrick Donovan, thank you so much for being on the show, and you have a great night, my friend.
Much love, Omar. Thank you so much. Have a great night, guys.
Peace.